Okay, in our last session we looked at encoders, decoders, but we looked at the basic encoders. We looked at the basic encoders. We did the what? The 8421 and the 2421. Now let's try and see if we can look at decoders. Let's have, so the input now changes. Let's take the 8421 BCD input, 8421 BCD input, and we want to decode. So this is our input. All right, this is now we need to have how many outputs? We need to be able to do is BCD. So the assumption is that the wrong assumption, not the 5. Oh no, I skipped a 4. Let me not do that. Let's say our outputs are going to be x0 to x9. Why? We are assuming that we have the whole count 0, 1, 2 up to 9. All right, so we are assuming that, but remember we could have a 2-bit before I do this, let me rather revisit our previous work. Let me revisit our previous work and say, when we're doing the encoders, we could have, if particularly with the 8421, the 8421 encoder, remember that if we have our 8, our 4, our 2, and our 1, I didn't mention it, but I did say it. I did mention it, but I didn't show it. I did mention it. I did mention it, but I didn't show it. So remember that this is what? A full decoder. Okay, we should do the count from 0 to 9. All right, now, however, this here can be cut, and we could have a 3-bit decoder. Now, this, encoder. In this case here, this is the count from 0, 0, 0, all the way up to 1, 1, 1, which is 7. What does it mean? It means our inputs can only run from 0, 1, 2, all the way up to 7. So when you're asked to do a 3-bit decoder, then it means that our count there for the 7 is going to be the 4, the 2, and the 1. Okay, so for the 0, for instance, it will still be nothing. For the 1, it will just be the 1. For the 2, it will just be the 2, and we know the rest. So what we are saying here is, we are not always going to say, we won't always be asked for what? For the full decoder, which is doing 0 up to 9. Sometimes we can cut that to what? To lesser bits. We can say, okay, give us a 2-bit decoder, in which case that one will do, let's say a 2-bit decoder quickly. A 2-bit decoder quickly would just do the counts. 2 bits can only do 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. That will be a 2-bit decoder. In that case, there, what happens? You have your 0, you have your 1. So what does it mean? You only have 2 bits. So that would mean 2 gates. And then that will mean your 2 and your 1. Meaning that your count 2 and 1 is 3, your maximum count there is 3. So that there will be the 1, that there will be the 2, and the 3 would be that and that. So that is your 2-bit decoder. So decoders is not always the case that you're going to what? That you're going to have what? A full decoder, which will do the entire count from decimal to what? From 0 to 9. It sometimes we ask you for, obviously, what I just mentioned previously is if they say 3-bit, it will then count from what? 2 to the power of 3 bits. It will then count 8 counts, and that will be 0 to 7, meaning that you need 3 of these guys. All right, so you need to bear that in mind. But that being said, I will predominantly look at what? At full decoders. You should be flexible enough to what? To do the other ones. All right, now let's look at our decoder. We know that our decoder, the input is the 8421, the basic one. Now that means that I must have a full one. 8421 would be, it's a decoder, so it's the decimal. I don't know whether I'm not, my boxes, my what called my gates are not being too big here. I need 9, oh no, sorry, 10 from 0 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 3 more. I don't see how I will fit 3 more here. Okay, probably I need to go a little bit up. Now I need to maybe go a little bit up. Okay, I'll go up right there. But now how will I indicate my input if I'm to, because I want to indicate my input. Alright, I want to indicate which one is input. So there we're going to say this is our input, BCD input. Okay, and obviously our output has to be the decimal output. Now that will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 8. And I'm still short of 9. So let me try and group this. Let me make it smaller. That's the only way I can win here. Let me make this a little bit smaller. That's the only way I will win. Now I have to reduce this a little. Let me make it a little bit smaller because now I can fit my 9. So so obviously these will be part of our output. Okay, so now what then happens is this. For every input there, probably I should not do it like this. What I should probably do is maybe ungroup this. Oh God. Let's undo this and do this. Group it together. Okay. Then okay. Then I will come and say, oh, ungroup. Let's see. Okay. Ungroup again. I want to be able to move. Yeah. Now that I'm able to move them, it means I can now do this and move only this. I want to move this a little. Okay. Now what do we want? We want to have inverses also. So I want to have an inverse of each and every one. So I'll put my 4. Now what will happen is that this it's a little bit tricky to draw straight lines. It's a little bit tricky. I need to be a little bit more patient. All right, then I will need this. I will need a second one. I will need a third one. And I will need a last one. Okay. But I need the main lines for 8, for 4, for 2, and for 1. Now, 8 needs to be have its inverter there. It's easier for me to put it in the same order. So I know this is a 8, this is a 4, they have the same order on the other side. So this is my 2. If you don't put them in the same order, you have to keep worrying about which one is it, double checking and everything. So it's easier for you to just put it in the same order. Now, like this now, I know that the 0 has no 8, has no 4, has no 2, and there's no 1. So I need all 4. I need a not 8, a not 4, a not 2, and a not 1. If I convert all these and I put them through an AND gate, if I've got the count 0, 0, 0, 0, now these will all be changed to 1, 1, 1, 1, and that AND gate will be driven on and my 0 will be on. That's the whole point. Now, for the 1, I need a not 8, I need a not 4, I need a not 2, and I need a not 1. No. I need a 1. So now I'll take a 1 from there, as long as my 1 will come there. So what do I have? When I've got 0, 0, 0, 1, so that 1 is already there. The other zeros are inverted to 1s, and this AND gate there will be driven on. So our 1 will be on. Remember that when we change this to a 1, that there becomes a 0. So this will be off. So when it's 1, only the 1 will be on. That 0 will go off. Now when you go to 2, as you can see, we need AND gates for this purpose, because a specific combination, this in this form and that in that form and that in that form, will give us the output that we want. So we need an AND gate for that purpose. Now, so obviously 2 is the 8 is inverted, so that if it's a 0 there, and then a 4 needs to be a 0. So a 2 has to be direct, but a 1 has to be a 0. So that when I've got the combination 0, 0, 1, 0, the other zeros are inverted into 1s. Only the 2 comes direct, and it's a 1 already. So that combination will work. So obviously there will be those 1s there. That 1 there will actually switch this one off, and the 1 here will actually switch that one off, because it will be converted to a 0. All right. Now, as you can see, this is a Mickey Mouse game of just knowing your count. This is just a Mickey Mouse game of knowing your count. So just for demonstration. Alright, so now 3 would obviously be 2 and 1. The others will be inverted. So 4 is inverted, and then I said 4, that's an 8. 8 is inverted. 4, remember I put them in the same order. There. So this 8, 4, 2, 1. So 8 and 4 are inverted, but the 2 and the 1 are direct. The 2 and the 1 are direct. So at 0, 0, 1, 1, the 1s go through, but the 0s are inverted to 1, so this gate can be happy. So now, obviously, 4 will mean that the 8 has to be inverted. The 4 is direct. The 2 is inverted. And the 1 is inverted. That's 4 for you. The 5, the 8 is inverted. The 4 is direct. The 2 is inverted. And the 1 is direct, because 5 is 4 and 1. The 6 is 4 and 2, so the 8 is inverted. The 4 is direct. The 2 is direct. But our 1 is inverted. Alright, and then the 7 is obviously only the 8 inverted. The rest are direct. 4, 2, and 1. Right? So now, the 8 in this case is obviously the 8 direct, and then the rest are inverted. The 2, sorry, the 4, that was the 4, this is the 2, and this is the 1. Okay, now finally the 9 is 8 and 1, so that will be 8 and 1. And then the 4 and the 2 are inverted. So I hope this was not too much. I think it was easy enough. So this is one example of a what? Of a decoder. So we've done the 8421 BCD decoder. Now remember also that the decoder could be 3-bit. If it's 3-bit, it means you only have the 421, meaning that you're only going to have the gates from what? You're going to have your end gates from 0 all the way up to 7, because 3 bits can only count up to, that's supposed to be an AND gate, and I'm now changing it to an 8 rather. That's supposed to be an AND gate. Okay, now it will count from 0 all the way to 7. So if it's 4-bit, if it's a 4-bit decoder, it will count from what? From 0, 0, 0 all the way up to 1, 1, 1, which is 0 to 7. So the idea is the same, but you need to be careful how many bits you've been asked to do in the case of what? Of testing, maybe examination. So a 2-bit one can only do 2 and 1, which will mean the count 0 to 3. All right, with 2-bit, it's just going to be 0 to 3. Now I'm going to break here, and I'm going to look at the 2421 separately. So let's hope so far this was not difficult to handle. Laters, ciao.